Hey YouTube, it's Terrence Barker, and today we talking about going through struggle.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Alright guys, when it comes down to going through struggle, it's something that we all do. We all go through. It's kind of like a human being type thing. But as a person with a family, struggle is a little bit more different than when you're being single. When you're single, you can take a little bit more risk. You don't really have to worry about too much, and you're willing to risk a little bit more. Why? Because it's just you on the table. But when you have a family, you know, the struggle is kind of like heightened, because now it's no longer just you, which you may not be worried about as much. But now you got like kids and a wife, within that aspect. So going through struggle is something that we all going to do. But with a family, it's a little bit more heightened. And then also with a family, another thing that is not always taken into account is that struggle periods are going to differ per person, and they're going to be unique to their own. But one thing that I can tell you about struggle is if you're willing to persevere and you get through the struggle, it's basically going to come out and mold you and shape you into something a little bit better. Me, I call that going through the fire. And when you're going through the fire, you're basically going to come out pure like gold. What a lot of people don't know is that they got to go through the fire to come out pure like gold. You see, when it comes to the fire, it burns out all the impurities of gold. Meanwhile, gold maintains its same weight. And that's how it is with a lot of us. A lot of us don't want to go through the fire. Why? Because we don't want to take the heat. But the heat is there to burn out the impurities so we can be molded and shaped into something marvelous as gold. You gotta go through the fire. You gotta go through the test. A part of going through the fire is your testimony through your journey. You should take pride in going through the fire. You should love being in the fire. Being in the fire should be the happiest thing ever to you. Why? Because when you're in the fire, you're at home. My enemies can't take the fire. My problems can't take the fire. The fire is something that I use to weed out the problems in my life. The fire is my test. It is something to be marveled at, because any negativity in my life, I realize that it will be smoked out, burned out, turned to ash, and when the fire is gone, it should be eroded cold and extinguished. Send me through the fire. Now that I said what I gotta say, with struggle, the issues that surround you sometimes build character. They build character, hope, faith, and endurance. Why? Because character is because you learn from things. You learn a lot more from your mistakes and the troubles that you had than actually succeeding, to tell you the truth. Why? Because there's a lot more to improve upon. If you succeeded all the time, it's not really hard to improve upon success. It's easy to improve upon what's already been succeeded. But your problem areas, now you can be a little bit more critical. So it's going to build up the character, but it's also going to build up your hope and your faith, because you're going to recall what you've been through. And by recalling what you've been through, you could think back and be like, hey, I've been through this before. And I've been through this before, and a similar situation, or that I thought was just as hard. So it's going to make me have a little bit more faith in a positive outcome because of my previous successes that I had. And then it's going to allow you to be able to endure more. So going through some stuff, going through issues in your life does help. I'm not sitting here saying to actually jump in to the issues, But what I am sitting here saying is that if you go through those issues, do not really look at them as a bad thing. Actually look at them as something that's going to mold and shape you into something greater. And also is something that you can teach your kids to pass down to build up their resolve, or in other words, resiliency. Because you got to have a resilient mind being a family's keeper. That's just the way it is. It ain't no way around it, no ifs, ands, or buts. But other than that, y'all, this is Terrence Barker with I Am My Family's Keeper. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.